I'm Barry Martin Snyder, and the website's luminousself.com. This is the second in what may be an ongoing, seems like, series of recordings about awakening at the end of time. You might want to listen to the intro, but this is the first one that came through about a couple of weeks ago now. And I'm going to present them in very raw form, just as they came through early morning usually. No editing. They're just going to be rough. But I think it's important to give you the essence of how they come through and the rawness of the information as it comes without me going back over and massaging it all. Things are speeding up so dramatically that I think this is the only way I can get this information out in a timely fashion. So yeah, enjoy. I hope this is meaningful to you, and comment below. But I was experiencing at the 6th and 7th level of the aura and the chakras, which each have the 7 sub-levels in them. So I saw it came down to the very basis of this human reality as I went through. So this one's a limit stretch, trying to get something on the periphery of understanding into some kind of conceptual form. After my massage last night, which is always seems like a doorway to bring more in. Somehow when Kara massages me, it opens up other portals. Now unfolding. The heaven and earth we live in is one that we experienced from a 3rd and 4th dimensional level. The soul anchored. Correct. The soul was never really anchored in a physical form. The soul connects to and accesses through these conditional forms of the body. And the entire experience of reality, from the physical plane to even how we experience the divine domains, is conditioned and focused through that 3rd and 4th dimensional matrix. The planet is now transitioning through 4th and will ultimately land in the 5th dimension beyond the singularity that we're rapidly approaching. So I was communing with the source, asking me to I wanted to really get what this means. So I'll share what I could bring down. The galactic superwave that's coming in now is carrying all the codings for that new reality. It's multidimensional, what's coming in. It deals with all levels of the aura and consciousness. But it's coming directly from that galactic center, the Honapku, as a 5th dimensional emanation. And of course, this all ties into the magnetic reversal and the solar event that is coming. But I won't go into that in detail here. But what is happening is that the very basis of this holographic reality we call 3rd and 4D Earth is being up-leveled. And we have to think of this entire everything you experience with the senses comes through the aperture of the body-mind. The senses and the body-mind are the download or decoding modem for this level of reality. They arise in it and they are of it. So in other words, when we're experiencing, connecting through the body-mind sensor reality, we're literally, that is the access point for the matrix of 3-4D reality. That's why it's so holographically convincing, because it's like the movie The Matrix. It appears completely real. And because the whole of creation is nothing more than holographic nested domains, all different dimensions, like those Russian dolls, one inside the other, that are interconnected and interpenetrating. And we've been down in the most inner doll, the most inner level, which is at 3 and 4D. And now we're expanding out to higher levels of the holographic continuum. So everything arises out of that third and fourth dimensional matrix. That means the very subatomic stuff that comes together to create form appearances at this level is shifting. It's being raised. The noises you hear in the background are planes. We live near an airport, but I need to continue, so please excuse this. Everything we experience here, we experience from the perspective of the veil of separation. When you get into the lower dimensions, the density levels are so strong that the fullness of the divine image and similitude projected from the Godhead cannot be fully made manifest here. It's like what happens in holographic film. If you take a holographic picture of something and then shine a laser through it, you will see that image holographically displayed. But as you start to cut the image, holographic film, in smaller pieces, distortion starts to set in. You get down to small pieces, it becomes very distorted. That's what we're experiencing here. We're experiencing, as we get into the denser and denser dimensions down to 3D, the divine image cannot be translated. It literally can't be projected from the Godhead fully into here because the film's too small at this level to really hold it. So the matrixy of matter, of creation at a physical level that rises up out of the substrata of what we call matter to subatomic level cannot register the projected divine image and similitude of, for instance, the Adamic species. These forms made in the image and similitude of at the original Adam were a divine creation, but they're fallen at this now level. They cannot be fully made manifest through this third and fourth dimensional matrix. But as the word, as Christ said, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. The word is the primal vibration. It is coming in now. The second, it's the vibration of the second level of the Godhead, the sun daughter. And it is the universal soul, which is the second level, bringing forth its next level of manifestation as this planet goes into 4 and 5D. And as that happens, there's a complete upgrading of the subatomic structure and the ability to translate the divine image into form. We're already experiencing the rapid evolution of the species. You see these younger people who are the indigos, the crystallines, children, who are, many of them look very, very androgynous. Their structures are of a much higher vibrational level. Many of them, some of them, I can't really say for sure, already have another strand of DNA. And they will be able to handle, their bodies will be able to handle the incoming frequencies. As the magnetic of the field of the Earth collapses, which it's doing, it's already down 15 or 20%, the incoming radiation will be more. Cosmic rays will be bombarding the Earth, more ultraviolet and things. And that's one of the reasons all these cancers are happening. It's like the analogy they always showed me was a laser cutting steel. A laser doesn't actually cut steel. What happens is third dimensional matter, even a definite hard crystalline structure like steel, if you look at it at an atomic level, it's at a molecular level, the molecules of the iron are not fully aligned. There's a chaos in the structure. It's called entropy. That's what happens at a three-dimensional level. Because the fullness of the divine image of anything cannot be fully made manifest. So as the coherent light, which is light, which is all the light, photons are completely aligned. That coherency hits the incoherency in the steel, and all the incoherency of the trapped chaos is released. It's like it's a tension within the structure. And the light, the coherency of the laser, causes all that tension to be released. And when it does, the molecules of the steel disintegrate, they fly apart. That is, in essence, what is happening and will continue to happen on an accelerated level on this planet. The incoming coherency of the fourth and fifth and even higher levels that some people can access will cause the incoherency embedded in all the structures on this planet. And now structures, we're talking about all creation on this level, starting with the global industrial, techno-industrial culture, which is the manifestation of third-dimensional separative consciousness. It will not be able to be sustained in that higher dimensional frequency. It literally is going to unravel itself. The trapped chaos in it will literally explode, dismantle itself. That's what we're seeing. How that will be experienced and is experienced is chaos. These structures will fall apart. They will disintegrate. And they need to. As it is happening, the seed crystal structures for the emerging fifth dimensional reality are already seeding into the souls and the forms, especially of some of these newer souls, newer body or younger bodies. And they will be the seed crystal, fifth dimensional divine butterfly souls emerging from the chrysalis that the planet is going into. They are the hope for the future. They're the ones who will carry it across. if you're in an older form, like Karen and I are, born in the early 50s, the density of those forms and the time trail on them from back then needs all to be transmuted. And that, for many or most, will not be possible to keep the form through the 0 point. It'll come to the point where the form will hold back the evolution of the soul and will simply need to be dropped. And with adequate purification, it can be done with increasing levels of harmony. It doesn't have to be a disastrous, horrible dissolution through disease or chaos or accidents or things. Although many will leave in that way, and that's okay too. It doesn't really hurt the soul. As we spiral towards 0 point, the reality at a quantum level that this death rebirth process, or the process of disintegration and the emanation of the new, is going to happen faster and faster. So that's why it's difficult to say exactly how the transition will unfold in terms of the outer picture. The more that holding on to the old, the more violent and chaotic will have to be the breakdown. And so where certain soul groupings are holding on to fear and separation more strongly, then the way the chaos is released will be more destructive. But in those places where souls are operating at a higher frequency, the breakdown needs to be less so. It can be more gentle, so to speak. Although know that these forms will not exist on the other side. The body we know will not be here. The body you're in now will not exist. I do not even think the basic carbon-based structure of it will exist. It's going to be made out of something different, like Christ's resurrection body. We don't have names for those elementals yet because they really don't exist. The very atomic chart of 103 or whatever many elements is not going to be there. The perfection of the elementals itself will be made more manifest in the atomic structure. It is already based upon the nested polyhedra of the platonic solids, which are the perfect geometries of the elementals. Tetrahedron being fire, the cube being earth, the octahedron being air, the dodecahedron being ether, and the icosahedron being water. The atomic shell structure of atoms is based upon these nested platonic solids. Now that'll be able to be more resonant with the divine image. And so the very substrata of the atoms themselves will be raised into something of a more perfect level. I realize this is going all over the place a little bit, but it's just how it's coming through. So do with it what you can. Much of this is already explicated in our third book, We Are the Awakening Christ, and more fully so in the fifth book, Awakening at the End of Time. If you want to dive in more, get those books and read them. But as I've said many times, we have a caterpillar-butterfly process here. The third-dimensional human physical caterpillar is dissolving so that a fifth-dimensional divine human explication, Homo luminous, can come forth. So the important thing to get here is the normalcy bias makes us want to hold on to what has been. But nothing that we know is going to go through this or survive this in its current form. Nothing. everything is going to be changed. Remember, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will not pass away. We are going into another whole dimensional holographic matrix. The caterpillar does not know how to become a butterfly. It just happens. But the caterpillar does not have an ego that, at a mental level, resists it. But in fact, it does. The immune system in the caterpillar attacks the imaginal cells at the beginning. It tries to wipe them out. And that will happen literally at a physical incarnate level. And the recursive programming of this third dimensional body is going to resist these incoming frequencies. And that's where the work really is for us, to surrender to this dissolution process and purification. Massive purification means we cannot ingest toxic substances physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. And we have to purify all the toxicity that we have imbibed and embodied physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's a big clean out so that those new frequencies can come in and take embodiment. And then this whole structure from a physical etheric level up can be raised and raised and raised. And this is going to occur more and more rapidly. It's an exponential curve. It's an ascension process. And as that occurs, this old matrix is going to fall away faster and faster and faster. I was shown many times, when asked how to navigate this, a dark tunnel. And at the end of the tunnel was this great light. On both sides of the tunnel was all this darkness and chaos. And there was a light shining down on the next step on the path to that light at the end of the tunnel. And I could only see the next step. And they said, just take the next step and hold your focus on going to that light at the end of the tunnel. It's like what happens when the soul leaves the body. That is what we're doing in essence. We're going to the light now. And don't get caught up in what's going on both sides where the chaos is. And that's where the big pull is, to get caught in the drama that's going on in third dimensional reality with politics and economy and all that. I know that's difficult because we live within that matrix. But if we turn it all over to God, and for us, the Christ, who was the one to really prepare us for the second coming, and it's coming through everywhere now. The Christ is a cosmic idea, a cosmic reality. Jesus was the being who was the first to Christ on this planet and to make it manifest here. But it's available now through any path to God that you are truly on, and wholeheartedly with all your heart and soul, commit yourself to this death and rebirth process. You will find your way through. But it's a pathless path. The paths of the path will not get us in here. The old Hindu paths, Buddhist paths, they were great, but they will not get you there because of the paths of the old matrix. Remember, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will not pass away. We have to be in touch with the word, a living word coming through now, which is step by step, moment by moment, what divine will is wanting to manifest for us, telling us what we do today in this moment, what we open up to, what we go through, what we're willing to die to. So it's the orientation of where we are, the process we're in, and where we're going needs to be the center focus of our consciousness. It's not to get caught in the normalcy bias and the regression of trying to hold on to what's been. That is going to get more and more painful and chaotic. We don't have time for that anymore. To do that is to get off in the darkness on both sides of the tunnel. It's living in deeper and deeper faith and trust that God, the divine source, the one, will get us to the light at the end of the tunnel by the shining light on the next flagstone on the path that's being illuminated before us. So it's to let go and move towards that light. Stay grounded in the present moment with God's will guiding every step we take. There will be one test after another of being caught in our attachment and identification to this body, this mind, this world. We'll be asked to die to it, to give up that. And everyone's a little death. Everything we're attached and identified to as I, me, mine needs to be surrendered. It will come up progressively, perfectly in the way for us. But we have to die. We have to let go so we can be reborn each time we pass through one of these. And as we spiral into the 0 point, these circles of death and rebirth will go faster and faster. That is our job, to be the caterpillar dissolving and bringing forth the imaginal cell of the emergent divine human butterfly that we are becoming. This is our job. This is our task. This is what life is about from here on in. We're in a planetary chrysalis process. The human being is in planetary hospice. We have to understand that. Hard to face, but it's what's real. It's what's happening. Hope this is helpful. Much love and many blessings. Your brother, Barry Martin.